Well, hello, friends. Welcome back to Ray's Crate Cards. Got a little announcement here for you that I think you're going to be excited about. Starting June the 5th through June the 30th, you are going to be able to take an extra 10% off of Stampin' Die bundles. Isn't that amazing? I have never known Stampin' Up! To have a sale like this for this long a period of time. You can just almost claim the whole month of June for this, and it's amazing. They are also offering 10% off the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine and the mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. I've never known them to do that either. My first thought was, because at some point this year, customers will be able to enjoy 10% off of each and every order, okay? And we're not real sure when that's actually going to come into play, so this could be a prelude to that. I don't know. Guys, I apologize for my nails. They are dirt stained. They are alcohol ink stained. I apologize for that, but it is what it is, okay? So I wanted to show you, I got in here yesterday and I had quite a play with alcohol inks. Had so much fun. And at this point, because this card is done, you can't really see a whole lot of the background. I made this card for a special person for a reason. And I just kind of wanted to go above and beyond. But this is vellum. I bought some extra vellum before it was discontinued, and I have used Summer Splash, Misty Moonlight, Mossy Meadow, because all of those colors have tones in my alcohol ink background. See how well they go together? And I use that textured floral, not flora, floral, and it's got that splatter stamp, so I came in and did just a little bit of gold heat embossing and did the middles of the flowers and a little bit of splash there. So just kind of wanted to show that to you real quick, but everything else is vellum, and it is done with Stampin' Up! Inks. Okay, so Misty Moonlight. I tried with Boho Blue and Coastal Cabana. But the Coastal Cabana came out looking a lot more green, and it was so pale, I was so afraid it would get lost. And I also tried with the Boho Blue, and again, I was afraid it would get lost. So anyway, the Misty Moonlight and the Summer Splash worked out really well. Now, talking about alcohol ink backgrounds, and I've already die cut into this one. But this was one, it was 3 colors. I had Sunshine Yellow, Citrus, and Dandelion. And the 3 of those together came up with that. Isn't that pretty? I love that. Alright, so then I used a totally different color for this one. I used a Citrus and Sunshine Yellow, but then I brought in some turquoise. And so again, that's really pretty. In fact, I think that is pretty enough to use on a card front. So I'm just going to hold this one to the side. I don't have an orange alcohol ink. And so I did Crimson and Dandelion, thinking, okay, I'll get some orange out of it. And kind of, sort of, I mean, there's some in there. But rather than throw it away, I thought, maybe this fall I could use this to help make some leaves or something with it. I'm not sure. I'm not going to throw it away just yet. But this was not one of my favorites that I did. But I did take the leftover ink and added more yellow to it. And I took this smaller panel and ran that through, kind of like that, the ink smushing technique. And I got that, and I thought, okay, not real sure what I'm going to do with that, but again, not going to throw it away. Then I got into my pearl alcohol inks. Those are a totally different animal. And you have to use a blending solution and not isopropyl alcohol with them. And I had some mixative, some gold mixative that I put in there on that. But didn't that come out really pretty? I loved that one. Then I went back to the regular alcohol inks and I came up with that one. Again, I had a bunch of ink left over. So I took another panel and sopped up the ink. And I had it's a tool by Ranger. Well, here's one. In fact, this is it. It's a tool by Ranger, and it's got a felt pad. And I just took and put a little bit of texture in there on that. Wasn't that easy? Now, I can keep reusing this. In fact, there's enough ink in here. If I hit it with the alcohol, I can reactivate it. And these, you can buy replacements, or you can actually just buy some felt and die cut your own and stick them on there. Either way would be good. Again, I had some leftover ink, and so I took this panel and dipped it into the leftover ink. And again, I did use this a little bit on here. As you can tell, I've already die cut out of it for today's card. Hang in there with me. You're going to see it. And at some point, do you see that kind of almost yellowish looking tone right there? I must not have cleaned up in between well enough, and I did get a little bit on there. And so this was my third one, again, from leftover ink that was on my glass mat. And what do you think? Isn't that kind of neat? And it was so soft and so pretty. And again, all this texture is from me hitting it with that felt pad. But guys, I had so much fun yesterday. All right, I'm going to leave this one and this one kind of close by. We may refer to that again here in a minute. But yeah, it was just so much fun to do. So, textured floral out of the way. We're not using it today. Today I am bringing in, Simply Zinnia. Let me put this over to the side before I get something on there. So, what I wanted to do was utilize some of these that I did not want to use for card fronts and instead use them for die cutting. As you can tell, I have used, my stem. I have used this one and took it out of there. And then I have used the big leaf, the double leaf. I cut 2 of those. Plus I cut the middle of the flower, this middle, and this middle. And I have already got my flower glued together. So here's the thing. I've watched a lot of alcohol ink videos over time. It took me a long time to get brave enough to buy a few colors. If it's something that you think you might be interested in, just start out with a basic red, a basic yellow, a basic blue. You'd be surprised how many different tones you can get out of your primary colors. The other neat thing about alcohol inks is that when you're applying the alcohol and you're blowing that ink around, there are some undertones that will come out that will just totally surprise you. And it's like, well, where did that color come from? It's a lot of fun. And I would love to do a video and just show you in a very short video how you start with alcohol inks. Because they're not expensive and they are so addictive. Truly addictive. So we're using the Simply Zinnia, and for my background, rather than use one of the alcohol ink backgrounds, I am going to bring in the Polyglaze foiling sheets. There are 2 methods to foiling. You can use a laminator, which is what I've chosen to do, or you can buy a hot foil system. The Glimmer machine comes to mind. It's not the only one out there, but it seems to be the most popular one. And that's a whole different setup with different kinds of foil. But most of us have a laminator. Or if we don't, you can go to Walmart and get one for $20, $30. Several years ago on Amazon, I bought just a basic laminator. Well, a few months ago when Gina K came out with her fuse, I bought that one. The advantage to the fuse over just a basic laminator is that I can set different temperature settings on it. And if I feel like my foiling is not having enough heat applied, I can intensify the heat. Whereas with a basic laminator, you only have two settings, hot and cold, okay? But I have successfully done foiling with a basic laminator. Okay, so she has what is known as Polyglaze. I think there is another company out there that is putting out something very similar, and I don't remember what they're calling it. And Gina K just had her release party Tuesday night of this week, and she has introduced even more things in the Polyglaze line. She's got quite a bit. They frequently sell out. ThermaWeb makes these for Gina K, and so a lot of times you can go to ThermaWeb or Simon Says Stamp or Scrapbook.com, and you may find what you're looking for that is sold out on her site. So this is what it actually looks like, and they tinted the actual Polyglaze gray so that you can see the pattern. Otherwise, it would have been clear. It would have been really hard to see what you were doing. Now, prior to Gina K coming out with the Polyglaze, all you really had was black toner sheets. Some people have toner printers, and they can, do a sheet with the toner, and then the foil can also be run through a laminator, and the foil will stick to it because the toner melts under that heat, and then the foil has got something it can stick to. So I am going to very carefully move this over to the side. I don't want to scratch it. I'm going to bring up the fuse, the Gina K Designs fuse. I'm going to turn it on right here on the back, and I'm going to set my heat. I am going to go to 4. Now, this heats up fast. It heats up much faster than my regular laminator does. And I will tell you, so let me show you what I'm using. You can buy from ThermaWeb and other places, it's called iCraft, it's called Deco Foil. And you get 5 sheets in each tube that are 6 by 12 inches. So you get quite a bit, and it's not expensive. And there are so many colors. I have a few. I certainly don't have them all. I had mine put in a little flower bucket. So here is one. Isn't that pretty? It is called Emerald Watercolor. And I don't know if you can see the different green and yellow tones. I do have a silver in that. I have a copper in that, and I have one that is called Rainbow Shattered Glass, and it's just all kinds of colors. Can you see that? Isn't that pretty? Love, love, love it. Anyway, there's a few more in there, but you get the idea. Gina K also has foil mates on her website, and hers come in flat sheets instead of in a roll. But for today, we're just going to concentrate and keep it simple. Now, I will tell you, if there's any dust between what you're foiling and the back side of your foil, that can keep the foil from adhering. So I've already pre-cut a sheet of that gold, and I'm just going to say already, it's ready. And you do lay it shining side up. Can I talk today? I don't know. Guys, it is 3:30, a little past 3:30. And I haven't ate yet today, so I'm kind of skimming it. All right, I have got just regular parchment paper. And when I say regular, A lot of what you buy is white, but I get the unbleached because I'm not using the bleached in my kitchen. You can use that. There are carrier sheets that ThermoWeb makes. Gina K tries to carry them on her website. And I had one laying here and I'm not sure where I put it. Where did I put that? Anyway, it looks like white parchment paper, but on the inside it's silicone lined. But I really, really like the parchment paper. It does really well for me, so I just want to make sure my design is covered. And it's okay if the foil is a little bit bigger than what you're foiling, okay? Because it's not going to melt into your carrier sheet. It's not going to melt onto the parchment paper because it has nothing to stick to it. However, I do need to make real sure that that is not going to go over the side. Let me trim a hair off of this. Just a hair. Because that is definitely something I don't want to go through the machine and have it mess it up. Alright, so I'm within my borders here. You always start putting the folded side in. And you try to make sure you're right in the middle of the guide. You don't want to go over one way or the other way too far. Try to kind of split your difference. Try to have it kind of even. You're going to put it in just until you feel it take hold and run it through. But yes, you always have the shiny side up. Not a good day for me to be saying shiny, evidently. So we're just going to wait for that to come through. I have never used 5. I've used 3 quite a bit, but I think 4 is my sweet spot with this one. Okay, it has let loose. It's warm, but it's not going to burn you. I do like to kind of let mine cool a little bit. And it didn't quite get it all. Oh, you know what? There is a grain to foil, and I totally forgot about that. And I bet that's what's messing up. See how that kind of wrinkled? It shouldn't have done that. It should not have done that. So, I'm going to see if I can put this back through. Can I put that back through? Oh, I hope so. I'm going to try. Now that foil is sticking out. I should have cut my carrier sheet a little bit longer, I guess. Because I just went into my kitchen and got into my stuff. Let's run that through one more time. And let's see how that goes. I normally, again, don't have a problem. And if this still doesn't fix, then I will cut another piece and we'll try this again. So we'll see what we have. Give that just a second to send on through. It actually does it pretty fast, but you don't want to pull on it. You don't want to force it and you don't want to pull on it. You just want to be easy. Okay, let me see what we got this time. See that wrinkling? That kind of worried me when I saw that. Okay, so it didn't completely get it all. And I think I can still use this piece. I'm just going to have to... Now, where did I put that to? Let's get another piece of foil out. I've got a piece here. Now, they're very thin. And so when you do get a piece of foil out, you want to make real sure. All right, I can see the grain, and it may or may not show for you. But can you see just a really fine pattern going up and down? So, what I need to do is cut this piece. Let me get out my big scissors. I can do it on my trimmer. I usually do. I do it all the time. But I want to make real sure I'm not going to have any foil sticking out the end. I'm going to cut that really short. And don't throw these away. Absolutely. You can use those for sentiments and things. And I'll show that to you too here in a minute. Alright. I don't have anything sticking out. Cut that right up there. And I'm not going to have any foil sticking out. Let me make double sure. Okay. It's really not that complicated, guys. It's not. And if you already have a laminator, get you a pack of the Polyglaze. Or get you a pack. She also now sells just plain white Polyglaze that don't have designs on it. And that way there, if you wanted to do a whole sheet and then die cut out of it, you certainly could. You can also ink blend on here even after you have put the foil on there. You can still ink blend right over it. And I'm still getting wrinkling. Not as bad. But I did still get, I wonder if I'm over foiling. But I don't see that I'm over foiling. Well. Okay. Well, I'm sure any of you that have thought about it and not real sure about it at this point, you're going, yeah, no, never mind. But I'm going to send it through one more time. And quite center that as well as I should have. There are 2 rollers on the inside of this size of a machine. Your bigger laminators will have 4 rollers. Your smaller ones have 2. And let's see if it completely got it this time. I may have it too hot. I may need to go back and just use 3 on the setting. Let me see what I have here. But as you can tell, you can take that piece of parchment paper and you can use it over and over. This one's been used quite a few times already. Alright. I am still not getting complete coverage. And when you're done with a piece of foil, you can foil the negative. I didn't have it out to show you, but I had done that. So here are some where I took the negative after doing the greeting. Here's one. Here's where I did the greeting. And then after I cut them out, isn't that pretty? And then you may not be able to see these because the font is so fine. But I got those 2 and I'll be able to die cut those out. And then here, I've put it on black toner. I took the negative and put it on black. Isn't that neat? I love it. Anyway. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and go with it at this point. Let me turn this off and set it to the side. I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong. I'm sure I'll figure it out. But I can take this piece and where it's partially foiled and I can put it on a piece of white Polyglaze and go ahead and have the reverse design on there. But we're not going to take time to do that right this minute. That one, you can really tell. Isn't that neat? That's so neat. Anyway, we're just going to go ahead and go with it because I like a little bit of a distressed look. So I'm going to make this work even so. So I've got this and I have got my card base. These are 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, so they will totally fill the front of your card. And I thought about going ahead and trimming it down, and I thought, nah, why bother? Why bother? So I'm just going to go ahead and put glue on here. And I've got my card base 4 1/4 by 11. Scored at 5 1/2. It's already in my MISTI. And I stuck it down in that corner because this way here, looky there. And I should be pretty well lined up. Should be. And it makes it so much easier when you're putting on a whole card front to get it lined up correctly. And I'm loving this waffle flower mat. Do you see how thick that is? It doesn't go anywhere. Nothing moves. Nothing. I like this so much better than the real thin sticky mats that My Sweet Petunia makes for their MISTI. So much better. Love, love, love it. Because the other one will slide around just a little bit because it's not cut totally. You know, it's a little shy on the height and a little shy on the width, and so it'll kind of wiggle around on you, and you can mess up a stamping job really easy that way. All right, what I have here is the die cuts out of that I had done with the alcohol inks. And that's sweet. I love it. And I've already got them glued together. Because here's the thing, guys. Like I said, I have watched a lot of alcohol ink videos. So I kind of knew how it should go, how easy it was to do before I ever bought any alcohol ink. I don't have all the colors by a long shot. I just have a few. And it does what I need it to do. But when you are using alcohol inks, you need Yupo paper, which is a little bit on the pricey side, okay? Or, I'm just going to grab a whole piece here. I ordered from Amazon some paper by Graphics. And it has that plastic coating. These are 12 by 12. This side is the slick, shiny side. This side, kinda, but not near like the front side is. However, some people have actually used both sides and done just fine with it. And this was much more reasonable. And then I can cut the panel to the size I want before I play with it. So that was the way I went. But you're basically talking about plastic. Yeah, I wrote down on here that I use Gumball and Glacier and the first bit of leftover ink. And so here is Gumball and there is Glacier. One's a blue, one's a pink, but look at the purple I got out of it too. So I thought that was so cool. So think about your colors. Think about the fact that you can mix this color and that color and get, you know, different shades. So yeah. So I've already got that die cut and glued together because it took a little bit for that glue to kind of grab hold of the plastic. And I needed to make sure this was good and stable before putting this down on my card. And I previously, she's got several, but the one I have, it's called Lovely Notes. So here is see how well that came out? You know, guys, I'm telling you, only on a video. I mean, all of that foiled perfectly. And here are the Lovely Notes. You get 10 sheets. And I did the Sending a Handmade Hug. There's dies that cut out every one of the sentiments. Now, I don't have the stamp set. And I may later go back and get it. Because there's dies here for a light bulb, a mailbox, balloons, hearts, coffee cups. And I'm thinking that might be just a tag that you can cut out. I'm not real sure. More than anything, I really wanted those sentiment dies. So, yeah. And you've got this die here that cuts out all the hearts at one time. It's just such a sweet, sweet set. So, I've already die cut out, Sending a Handmade Hug. I wanted to use that on the card today. I love that, Sending a Handmade Hug. Now, because that plastic, the glue doesn't want to dry as quickly, I'm going to see if I can use tape runner to get this adhered on here. Maybe. We're going to see. I don't know. I haven't tried this yet. So we're going to find out together. But I did want to put this on my silicone mat. And I will tell you, to be very honest, and I meant to finish this thought a minute ago. Out of all the videos I've watched, they glibly say, well, if you're not, if you don't really care for something you come up with alcohol ink, you can always die cut out of it. But I have never, ever seen anybody do a video where they use die cuts from their alcohol ink patterns. Now I know why. So be prepared, because this is thicker than cardstock, and basically it's plastic. You may have to run it through a few times with a shim to make sure it cuts all the way through. Doesn't mean that the dies are not any good. It just means that you are going to need to have a little patience. It may not come together quite as quick as you're used to. We're so spoiled. We die cut one and done, unless it's a real intricate die. Well, this does go a little bit beyond intricate. So I was doing round trips. Now I call it a round trip. And when I run it through and then run it back, run it through and run it back, I did that probably 3 or 4 round trips per die cut to get it to come out. So I will kind of warn you about that. Now I've got to pick it up, guys, see if I'm straight. And because that's Gina K tape runner, it allows me to move it for a few seconds before it goes totally. And I don't have anything for the inside yet, because I don't know who's going to get this card yet. Sending a Handmade Hug opens up the door for all kinds of occasions and situations. So not sure how that is going to go yet. But what do you guys think? Are you interested in foiling? Should I do a video dedicated to foiling? And you better believe I am going to revisit after the video and see if possibly I had it too hot. I was pretty careful to try to make sure there was no dust. If you get any dust on here, or if you get any dust under the foil, obviously it's not going to attach. And my little cloth may not be, it's older. It's a microfiber cloth. Gina K is famous for using Swiffer sheets, and she never has an issue. So that is something I need to keep in mind, and maybe get some of those Swiffer sheets and just see if there's a difference there. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed a little bit of a sneak peek into some other inexpensive tools that you can use to broaden the uses of your stamp sets. So in a million years, unless I had gotten into foiling and alcohol inks, I would have never thought about getting a look like that. But isn't that festive? I love it. Look at all the different tones. You couldn't have ink blended that many tones. And I love this with the vellum. I love it. And I did put, I cut, so on the background there is a piece of slightly tilted plain white vellum from the Deckled Rectangle Dies. I did put that back there just to kind of give a break between the colors on the vellum and the colors in the ink back there. But I hope y'all leave your comment. Please let me know. I would be happy to show you a little bit of ink blending. There are some really, really talented people out there that are doing amazing things with alcohol inks. Do I want to go to that level? No. I really don't care to learn how to do a flower or how to manipulate the ink, to do flowers and objects. I just really enjoy just having fun with this. It's addictive. If you ever do it once, you'll want to do it again. Rubbing alcohol, I use 91%. You can use up to 99%. Have not used 70%. It should work. However, I will tell you, because it's 70%, there's going to be more water than alcohol in it. And these are formulated to move and do their magic with alcohol. And they are alcohol inks. So, guys, y'all have a very blessed weekend. I wish everything had been just totally perfect in the video, and it wasn't. And so, hey, it's real life, right? But you stay safe, be blessed, know you're loved. God is good all the time. Bye.